Everybody, this is Dream, and today we're going to have a small two-game slate here. We have Golden State versus Orlando and Denver versus Oklahoma City. Before I get started, though, can you guys smash that like and subscribe button? Really do appreciate it. So for FanDuel here, let's check out the injury report real quick. There's really not too much today. For the Magic, Cole Anthony remains out, and Terrence Ross is questionable, and for the Nuggets, Highland is questionable. So everybody should, for the most part, be good to go today. With that said, let's get into the players we do like. So for guards, I've got three guys mentioned here. Jamal Murray being the top guy. His price point is a little bit too cheap for his potential. If he can get over 30 minutes again, then he's going to pay off pretty nicely at this price point. He is starting to play more and more, and he's had a couple days off, so he should be good to go in this one. And then Shea Alexander. Now, I don't love him on FanDuel as much as DraftKings because the price point is way higher here. But overall, he's still a good play. He's been playing absolutely great so far this season. And even though it's a little bit of a tough matchup, he should not have too much issue getting his full complement of scoring in this particular game. And then we're going to look at Klay Thompson here for Golden State. Now, we do need to see him be set to play over 30 minutes again, which he's been playing in the last couple games that he's actually played. And if that's the case, then he'll be a guy that will definitely be able to pay off at this price point. He's just a little bit too cheap here on FanDuel overall. Then we're going to look at Paolo Banchero. He's been pretty solid so far this season. His price point is pretty high. He's a little bit more robust the last two games. He hasn't really come through. But he has been extremely good this season, and those two games he kind of didn't shoot the ball as well. So I expect him to kind of bounce back here. He's a pretty decent play as a more expensive guy, but I think he's got some plus upside in this matchup against Golden State. Then we're going to look at Draymond Green for Golden State. He's in a good spot here. His price point is a little bit too cheap for his potential. Now, he is a little bit weird because, you know, the stats are all over the place for him, but he does get a lot of peripheral stats, which definitely helps him because he doesn't always get the points. But in this game, I suspect that he's going to have free reign to get as many points inside as possible, and so he's going to have a lot of opportunity in this one. Then we're going to look at Aaron Gordon. Now, Aaron Gordon's a little bit of a boomer bust guy, so I do not love him, but he is an option. He does have tendency to have games where he scores 10 points like he's done a couple times this season. But overall, he's a pretty solid play, even though there's not too many injury issues for the team. He should still get a complement of minutes, and so it's just a matter of him turning those minutes into fantasy points. And his price point is relatively fair for his potential here. Bobo is my favorite center. His price point is just too cheap for what he's doing as a starter. Obviously, if he didn't start or something, that would change this, but he's been getting about 29 and 30 minutes the last two games, which he both started, and he got well over 30 fantasy points, and I expect him to be able to do that again today in this matchup against Golden State, who really doesn't have anybody that can stop him down low. And then finally, Nikola Jokic. The Joker has been extremely good this season. He's had some really big games. He's had a couple not so great ones, but even his floor is pretty high for a guy like this. And he's a triple-double threat, which is always nice, an advantage for us here. And he is playing the Thunder, too, who really don't have anybody that can deal with him. And so I suspect that he and SGA will go kind of back and forth. But I think he's a guy that's primed for a triple-double in this matchup. He actually had 60 fantasy points the last time they played, and I expect a similar outcome as well. So with that said, guys, obviously it's a small slate, so there's not a whole lot of picks to give you. But this is what I think is probably the most likely plays. Obviously, that could change slightly if there's some injury situations. But overall, everything looks pretty solid at this point in the day. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. And have a nice day, guys.